Hi, I'm the Naked Fairy, and I'm feeling a little bit like a hobbit today. No, while my feet are big, they're not hairy, but I feel like I've been there and back again. I had a really good plan for a very enjoyable day, including this video, and my new therapist called, and eventually I'm going to talk to you about what I talk to my therapist about and what conclusions we come to and where we go. But just the short little talk I had with him brought up some things that just by my reaction to them, I realized that, wow, these are issues. One of them definitely involving my mom. But when I got off the phone with the therapist, I knew that I couldn't just simply launch into the video I had planned. So, change of plans, got some food, got a slow cooking roast into the oven, a pork shoulder, which makes the house smell delicious for hours. And I will soon have a stream of people coming in and say, it's not fair, we want it now. But so that's ready, and I told my daughter what was going on. We had planned to walk to the post office, but then she came to me and she said, okay, we're not going to the post office today, that's fine, let's walk to the duck pond. And I had half a loaf of bread to feed them, and I took my camera and we walked to the duck pond, and we were gone all total about an hour. I filmed the ducks some while I was feeding them so I could play around with editing. I love the ducks, they're beautiful and they're fun, and there's one duck in particular that is very friendly. When he realized I didn't have any more food, he came up and literally rubbed his head up against my leg and then walked back away. I don't know what it was for, but we're going to pretend he was saying thank you for the bread. But we hung out there, we talked, had a good time. We talked everything from politics to games to fanfic, lots of things that we both have in common. And I got home and I realized, wow, I'm a lot more unsettled than I was this morning, but I can do that video. So I took off my clothes and sat down, and here I am. Hot, a little bit sweaty. Really haven't done any makeup, or, my hair is like I went to the park with. But here I am, and we are going to start out by playing pretend. We are going to pretend that we live in a world without trauma, without abuse, without war, and without natural disasters. Now, there are other stressors. There are the normal everyday things, and, shit happens. But there's no PTSD. There's no large anxiety spikes. There's no widespread depression. Because those just don't exist. So let's talk about what you would need if you lived in this world. Now let's assume that you have a safe place to live and sleep, that you have your basic housing needs met. If you don't, that's your first priority, and you can listen to this later. Turn the video off and go take care of it. But let's assume that you do have those taken care of. You need some things. Every human being needs these things. The first thing you need is rest. And by rest, you need 6 to 8 hours of sleep, and you need regular breaks in your day. This is not made up. There's a lot of science behind this, to the point that they know that people who are consistently short on sleep are more disabled by that than a drunk person when they get behind the wheel of a car. Seriously. If you're not getting enough sleep, you're a road hazard. Get your act together, is what I'm saying. But you need rest. And yes, this is my mom voice. You also need food. And by food, that's an umbrella term that covers actual food. You need fruits and vegetables, whole grains, healthy fats, low-fat proteins. The occasional treat is good. Ice cream's wonderful. There is nothing like French fries. But they should not be a regular, steady part of your diet. In the perfect world. That also includes water. you need 64 ounces, that's 8 cups or half a gallon of water every single day. Your Diet Coke doesn't count. Your orange Fanta doesn't count. Your iced tea doesn't count. Your hot tea doesn't count. Your coffee doesn't count. You can have those things, but you need water. And quick little tip, I'm a big water drinker. It's a rare day that I don't get a lot of water. I have a water bottle with me almost constantly. But my husband really doesn't enjoy drinking water. So what he does is when I remind him, I'll say, "Hun, you're looking a little dehydrated." And he'll make a real effort that after every Coke he drinks, Diet Coke, before he drinks the next one, he drinks a large glass of water. And wow, I'm really hot. So we're going to stop and do this before I just die of wanting to tickle myself to death, because sweat trickling down your face is, well, it's distracting. So we need rest, we need food, and we need activity. Now, there was a time when people didn't exercise because they were naturally more active. You have a choice. You can be more active or you can deliberately exercise. My daughter is very shy, and when we go to the doctor, she often asks me to talk on her behalf, and the doctor will always say, does she exercise? No, she really doesn't. But for a person who is pretty much homebound and can't do a lot, she's very active because she dances. Anytime she feels good, she's dancing. Activity can be dancing, it can be bike riding, it can be walking, it can be running, it can be whatever you do. I don't like to walk for exercise, but I enjoy when we walk to the park. I enjoy when we walk to the park next to our house. Walking is one of those exercises along with running that's known as a weight-bearing exercise. It's very good for your bones, particularly if you are older and you're at risk of osteoporosis. And when you're younger, it's just adding into that preventative. But you need exercise, you need stretching, you need that. People who lead sedentary lifestyles that don't have physical activity don't live as long, they don't live as healthily. Again, that's just a fact. I'm an introvert. I understand you don't want to go out and about. You don't want to go to exercise class. I don't either. But you need to do something. So that's what you need. This is in the perfect world. You need those things. You need to eat regularly. You need to rest regularly. You need to be active regularly. Rest, food, activity. Okay. Here's the thing. We're not in a perfect world. There have been people abused. There's trauma. There's war. There's natural disasters. There is PTSD. There's anxiety. There's depression. And a whole host of other things that go along with it. So guess what? Remember those spoons? You're using up your energy faster. Whether you're in the midst of the trauma, you've survived the trauma and you're just getting by, or you've started your healing journey, that takes energy. It takes energy above and beyond what you normally need. You need those things in a trauma-free life. You need them so much more when you have experienced abuse or trauma. Here's the thing. I'm 54. You guys know that. I've had lots of relationships. I've had 3 longer-term committed relationships, 2 of them being marriages. I've had lots of people in my life. And here's what I've learned. Everybody's special. Everybody's a special snowflake, and there's some reason or another that they don't need what other human beings need. I call it being terminally unique. I've heard it. Well, yeah, other people need 6 to 8 hours of sleep, but I don't. I can stay up all night and it doesn't affect me. If I don't eat all day, it's no big deal. Yeah, I know most people need water, but I don't. I actually used to teach nutritional counseling and weight loss, and this was before I was heavy. And so I would listen to people explain to me why they didn't need to eat breakfast. Yeah, I know everybody needs breakfast, but I'm different. No, you're not. Look, all of us are different. But those basic human needs, rest, food, activity, you're not exempt in that area. You are not a special snowflake. You are not terminally unique. I don't know how much more I can say this. What got to me, what really got home to me on breakfast, my mother has had a few mild heart attacks. And women, I am in the age group that women have heart attacks that a lot of times the heart issues are not detected. But a study showed that people who ate breakfast within an hour of waking up were 16% less likely to suffer a heart attack. Now, 16% may not seem like a lot, but all those little things add up. Here's the real kicker about the study. It didn't matter what you had for breakfast. It didn't matter if you had a healthy breakfast or you had a candy bar. It didn't matter if you had a protein shake or you had a bag of potato chips. What mattered was that you break your fast. You get your blood sugar back up and your metabolism running before you get started into the day's activity. So I've kind of gotten into the habit of when I get up in the morning or afternoon, wherever I'm sleeping to, I go to the bathroom and then I immediately go to the kitchen and I get one of those all-natural fruit cups packed in fruit juice and a high-protein fruit and nut bar. I'm very picky about them. A lot of them have a lot of sugar in them. All of them have some form of sugar in them, but that's okay. You need the carbs, but I like the nuts. They're high protein, and I find they give me a better morning. No matter what kind of night I've had, I can consistently do that. Now, sometimes I'll have a bowl of cereal. Some mornings I wake up and I actually want to like make oatmeal or fry an egg or something, but that's something I can do every single day. And I buy a variety of fruit cups. I buy peaches, I buy pears, I buy a mixture. My favorite is grapefruit, packed in fruit juice, again with no sugar added. I really like the grapefruit, despite the fact that it's packed really full, and I always get grapefruit juice on me. But that's my solution because it works. But you're not exempt. You need breakfast too. No, I don't want to hear it. You need breakfast too. And you're smart enough to watch this video. I mean, this is something 100 years ago people couldn't even imagine, much less do. You've gotten a device, you've figured out YouTube, and you're watching it. Okay? So you have demonstrated to me that you have a basic level of cleverness. So go figure out what you're going to have for breakfast. Figure out how you're going to get enough water in. Okay? Also, I realize that a lot of us have a lifetime of bad habits. So do baby steps. Pick one thing. Again, there are programs out there that will help you. I've talked about this before, that help you build healthy habits. One of the things that I do is, because I have water with me all the time, I make sure the first thing I do actually before I go to the bathroom is whatever water is left over in my water bottle from the night before I drink it. And when I'm in the bathroom, I have another glass of water. And I've already started my day hydrated. Oh, here's something most people don't know. By the time you feel hungry or you feel thirsty, your body's already gone too long. That's right. You eat regularly whether you feel like it or not. Why? Well, there we go back to those feelings aren't reality. There's an objective reality out there, and the objective reality says that you need regular fuel. You don't ask your car if it feels like gas. It needs gas all the time. So you keep gas in the tank. Because when you run out of gas, well, car's not going anymore. You need those things. You need the activity. Maybe you need supplements to help you get enough vitamins and minerals. We recently found out that I had a vitamin D deficiency. Wow, was that a surprise. But apparently the rays from the sun that help you produce vitamin D don't go through glass. And I have a very sunny room, and I just assumed that being in my sunny bedroom and being in the sun regularly that way was giving me enough sun, and it wasn't. So you might need supplements, but you need that. Think of it as a holy trinity if you're a spiritual sort. If you're not, just think of it as a very good foundation. You need rest. Remember, 6 to 8 hours a night or a day whenever you sleep. You need food, including water, fruits and vegetables, whole grains. And you need activity, regular activity. If you want to do some sort of formal exercise, have at it. But you need to work your muscles. You need to stretch your ligaments. You need to be active. So, that's important. If you're on a healing journey, it's going to wear you out. You need to factor that in. And here's something else I've learned. There are times, for some reason or another, you don't get enough sleep. Or there are times, for one reason or another, that you don't get enough food. You have to skip a meal. And there are times that you're stuck doing something that keeps you sedentary. You can do without one of the three for a short time, for a couple of days. You can be short on sleep for a few days, but you absolutely have to be eating enough and getting some activity in. Or you can skip a few meals because you have something that needs to be dealt with, but you better be resting and getting your sleep and getting some activity in. Or, again, if you're stuck at your desk or you're in a situation where you can't be active, and those times happen, then you need to make sure you're getting the rest and you're getting the food. And that's a very good rule of thumb. You can skimp occasionally on one of the three, but the other two need to be there. I've seen this with myself. I've seen it as a wife, and I've seen it as a mom. When my children have gone to cons, when I've gone to cons with them, I know that generally sleep is what gets lost in that, and there's plenty of activity. So even though it can be inconvenient when you're in a convention center and there's not a lot of good food options, you need to make sure you're eating. That is really important. So you can skimp on one of the three, but on an ongoing basis, if you want to lead a healthy, long life, you need those things. And I'm assuming that you want to be healthy and that you want to feel good and that you want to enjoy that as long as possible, particularly if you're on a healing journey. You've spent too long hurting. As you start to heal, as you start to thrive, as you start to have healthier relationships, and you start to enjoy life more, don't you want to do it for as long as possible? So, here's the mom voice again. If you don't have those things in your life, if you don't sleep enough, if you don't eat properly, if you don't get enough activity, it's time to make some changes. You can't fix everything at once. It's too much. Baby steps. Baby steps. Take one thing and do it for a couple weeks. Then add one more thing and do those two things for a couple weeks. Start by drinking water. Then add a simple breakfast. Again, it could be a bag of chips. Is that ideal? No. Again, we're not looking to leap tall buildings with a single bound. We are looking to step up the ladder, one small step at a time. Okay? After you've done that, Then, after you've eaten, stretch. Reach up, go down and touch your toes, gently twist from side to side, gradually, until you're up to about 8 to 10 minutes of movement in the morning. But just start out with a minute or two of stretching and moving, and go up from there. From there, you can add more regular activity. You can also do what my husband does. He has a desk job, and wherever you park farther away so you have a little farther to walk. When you can, choose stairs over elevators. Now, if you work on the 20th floor, but think about going up to the 18th floor and walking the last two. And the same thing, going down 2 and then taking the last 18 down. Also, get up from your desk every few hours and walk around. When you need to talk to a colleague instead of emailing them or texting, get up and walk over to them to see if they're available. If they're not, you can come back and send the email. But find reasons at work to get up and walk around. When you get home, people are often tired. They don't want to move. But, the other night, the moon was just beautiful. I was so sad that my knee was still so swollen that I couldn't walk. Because, wow, that moon just said, come, walk under me. And when that happens, listen. When the moon tells you you need to walk and visit with her, go do it. When the sun and the breeze says, hey, come out and play a little, go out and play. Listen to the world around you and listen to your body. And take care of yourself. No, you're not a special snowflake in that you're exempt from what you need. You're not terminally unique. But you do deserve happiness, and you deserve to be healthy. Trauma impacts you physically. You deserve to feel good. And to feel good, you need sleep, you need food, and you need activity. So hop to it. If you can't figure out how to get started, feel free to email me. I can give you some recommendations. Go online. There's lots of good resources. There's lots of good websites out there. I particularly like the Mayo Clinic website and the Livestrong website. I find that they have some pretty sound advice about living healthy lives. So it's time. It's time. This is me as the fairy mom. Okay, mom shouldn't be naked, but I am. But you deserve so much more. And that includes health. So always remember, when you're resting, when you're eating, when you're being active, always remember that clothing is optional, but consent is not.